What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So tomorrow could be the day that, truths could be uncovered if former President Donald Trump is arrested, indicted. Does former President Donald Trump know something that we don't know? That is a good question. Take a listen here to former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. She knows a little bit, maybe more than we do. And then I'll let you listen to the Republican side here, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy here in a moment. Take a listen.
For more than a week now, we've been hearing that Donald Trump may be indicted by the Manhattan DA's office. And yesterday, Trump himself weighed in. In an all-caps tirade on his social media site Truth Social, the former president said he will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Even more ominously, he also encouraged his supporters to, quote, protest and take our nation back. And then he doubled down with another post saying, quote, protest, protest, protest. If that all sounds familiar to you, it really should. It is eerily similar to the language Trump used before January 6th and the days leading up to it. And we all know how that ended. And that's why it's important to be extra vigilant about the impact his words could have. But it's also crucial not to take Trump's bait here, because he clearly wants to amplify the drama. That's the whole point. The truth is, Trump's own campaign is denying that he's received any advance notice from prosecutors about an arrest on Tuesday. So for the moment, it doesn't seem like he knows any more than we do. But District Attorney Alvin Bragg has definitely taken note. In an email obtained by NBC News, he told his staff, quote, we do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York. Pretty strong words from Bragg. When it comes to the reaction from the White House, my bet is you won't hear a lot about Trump's outburst from them. They want to keep the temperature down. But behind the scenes, they're paying close attention, tracking any potential threats, as they always would. That's what they should be doing. And we're going to be watching it very closely here, too. But we should also be clear-eyed about exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do here. As his legal troubles are mounting, his goal is to manufacture outrage and direct it at the Manhattan DA. And so far, some of his allies are giving him a big old helping hand. Everyone from Marjorie Taylor Greene to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to his former Vice President Mike Pence are on the track, just like Donald Trump wants them to be.
I'm taken aback at the idea of indicting a former president of the United States at a time when there's a crime wave in New York City. That the fact that the Manhattan DA thinks that indicting President Trump is his top priority, I think, just tells you everything you need to know about the radical left in this country. It just feels like a politically charged prosecution here.
Now, I will agree with former Vice President Mike Pence. He did do a good job of persuading me with his point of view. Because ultimately, whether not being a Republican or not being a Democrat, I consider myself a realist. Ultimately, in the end, I'm an American. And I would rather not see any of our presidents, former presidents, go to jail or prison and have a black mark on our country for other countries to laugh at us and put that smear on our image. I mean, do we really want China and Russia and North Korea and Iraq and Iran and, all those countries looking at us as the laughing stock of the world? No, I'd rather not see that. I'd rather see them looking at us as a strong nation, the number one nation, the strongest military in the world. Because relatively, when you look at this hush money paid to some woman with, a shady past, in all reality, to me, it's a relatively minor thing. Because in all reality, and again, I'm not choosing sides here, I'm just giving you my point of view. If you look at the past or the doings of politicians in general, they probably all have some type of thing you could get him on, right? You look at Nancy Pelosi, you look at Mitch McConnell, you look at Joe Manchin, you look at, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you look at all of these people in Congress, right? You could probably arrest them all on something, right? Congress is just like, they're just all kind of nasty people, right? So would I want to see the Bushes and the Clintons and the Obamas and all of them arrested for the smallest things? No, I would rather not. I would rather not see our past presidents arrested from either party because they're a symbol of our country. Unless it was something like treason and like they gave away our nuclear codes and they were like selling stuff to other countries and massive things here, right? Then it would be a different story. And it's just my point of view. I get that there's going to be some hardcore Democrats that are going to be like, if you broke the law, no matter what the law is, if you cross the street and look the wrong way, you should be arrested. I get it. I get it. There's going to be people that are like, if Trump parked in the wrong space, he should get a parking ticket and they should throw him in prison for 30 years. I get it. I get it. But again, if you've watched my show, there's some people that think I'm a Democrat and there's some people that think I'm a Republican. I've had thousands of comments both ways. The reality of it is I'm not. And you're going to see this as I'm defending Trump. I'm not really defending Trump here. I'm just a realist. And again, if this was Obama, if this was Clinton, if this, like, honestly, every time I think of Clinton, I think of the Monica Lewinsky thing, as sad as that is. And again, I think he was a decent president for what he did in the office. Getting on a side note here. But every time I think of Clinton, I think of the Monica Lewinsky case and episode. That's how, like, that one thing tarnished him, as my wife would say. It's so sad that like tarnished his whole presidency. And like, I don't know if that's what Trump's going to be known for, like the impeachments and maybe this thing, but it's weird how like a political side things can tarnish somebody's reputation. And I don't know what Trump's going to end up being known for. January 6th, the impeachments, maybe this. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange. But you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. But do I think that any of our presidents, Republican, Democrats, any of them, should be thrown in jail for something relatively minor? No. And I get it. There's going to be people that disagree with me here. But this is kind of a problem here with us. We're supposed to be the United States of America, and we are literally anything but. We are just so far from United States, and this is why our presidents have immunity from being sued while they're presidents, because if they didn't, they would literally be sued by the opposite party every month of the year, if not every week of the year. So like so Biden's the president right now. You remember Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to file impeachment papers on him before he became president. Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was going to file impeachment papers on him the day he became president. She said it before he became president. This is kind of how our country is. And again, I'm not defending Biden. I'm not a Democrat. And again, I was just kind of defending Trump. I'm not a Republican. I'm just a realist. I'm just looking at our country saying, I'm an American. Whoever the president is, again, when Trump was president, if you go back and look on my channel, people thought I was a Republican. But the reality of it is that I'm an American. I just try to get behind our presidents no matter who they are. I try to defend our country. Okay, if you go back to my channel a couple years ago, I got comments all the time of people thinking I was a Republican. Now people think I'm a Democrat because our president's a Democrat. If our next president is a Republican, I guarantee you people are going to think I'm a Republican because our president is a Republican. It's just kind of, I'm an American, okay? And I ultimately think that it's bad for our country to try to arrest a former president. My wife's agreeing with me in the background. Let me know your thoughts here. Even if you're like fully a Trump hater, let me know your thoughts just on this point of view. Just on this point of view. Because like imagine what other countries are going to think here. North Korea, China, Russia, for arresting a former president here on paying a woman for just keeping her quiet over having a relationship with him in the past. Like, and honestly, like, I get that he like paid her with campaign money, and maybe if he would have paid her with personal money, it would have been different. These are just like rules and regulations, BS. I get it that maybe it was done wrong. I get it. I get it. But if you really look at politicians and how corrupt our system is, we could probably arrest half of our politicians if we really tried. If we really tried. And that's kind of the problem with our system. Just saying, right? The other problem with this is that the hardcore Republicans, what they might think of this, and again, I'm nowhere near a hardcore Republican. Here's what Republican leader of the House, Kevin McCarthy, has to say. Take a listen here.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was asked about Trump's calls for protests and urged Americans to stay calm. But he also gave a full-throated defense of the former president and condemned the Manhattan DA's investigation. Take a look.
I don't think people should protest this, no. And I think President Trump, if you talk to him, he doesn't believe that either. I mean, I think the thing that you may misinterpret when President Trump talks, when someone says that they can protest, he would probably be referring to my tweet, educate people about what's going on. He's not talking in a harmful way, and nobody should. Nobody should harm one another in this, and this is why you should really make law equal, because if that was the case, nothing would happen here. Lawyer after lawyer after lawyer will tell you this is the weakest case out there. You see the Supreme Court. You see the statue out there of the lady sitting there with a blindfold on and a scale. It's supposed to be equal to all in America. And the last thing we want or have is somebody putting their thumb on the scale simply because they don't agree with somebody else's political view. That is what's wrong, and that's what infuriates people. And this will not hold up in court.
So what my advice, and again, don't take my advice if you don't want to, what my advice would be is do not go out to any protests. By all means, you could. Peaceful protests are God-given right, are American right. But the problem with peaceful protests is a lot of times they end up not being peaceful. Look at the BLM protests and the January 6th protests. Again, you know, sometimes they're blamed on Democrats, sometimes they're blamed on Republicans, but the reality of it is it's just human nature that kind of emotions get in the way, and poof, you might be a peaceful person and just get caught in the wrong person and you might get hurt. If you want to protest on Twitter, protest in the YouTube comments here, protest online like that. If you're for it or if you're against it, if you think that he should be convicted, by all means, comment. If you think he shouldn't be, comment. That's probably the best way to protest or voice your opinion that he should or shouldn't be. But I personally wouldn't go to any protests. I mean, I wouldn't protest either way, but I just don't think it's safe or smart for anybody to be protesting in person, because I just look at what happened with BLM and January 6th. I wouldn't go anywhere near any of these things. There's going to be police everywhere. It's not going to be good, and it's not good for our country. And I don't think arresting any president of the United States, unless it's a very serious crime. And I personally don't think this is a very serious crime. Just like they give a president immunity while he's president. You cannot sue a president while he's president, because they just have better things to do. You can't be suing a president for every which way and thing here while he's president. And I almost think that they should have an immunity up to like a very serious like threshold while they're a former president as well for this reason, because they're a symbol of our country. And I mean, you can let me know your thoughts. I get that people are going to totally disagree with me. Some people are going to agree with me, but I just don't think we should be sending this message to Korea, China, and Russia. And whether they were Republican or Democrat, you could say the same thing about Obama, Clinton, or the Bushes as well. I wouldn't want to see any of them in prison either. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and we will see what happens here tomorrow or in the next few days. It could be delayed. You never know. Or it might not happen at all because of what Trump said. So let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's some big news for Social Security and Medicare. And people could lose everything because of what the Fed is doing. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.